elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. Provincial legislative assembly. The idea of constitutional assembly was put forward first time by M.N. Roy. Constitutional Assembly, 1935. Indian National Congress for the first time officially called for a Constituent Assembly to frame a constitution for India. Total strength of the assembly was 389. Total strength. Out of this 93 seats in the assembly were allotted to the peninsular state, which were to be filled by nomination by the heads of the peninsular state. Out of 93 seats, the assembly were allotted to peninsular state, which were to be filled by nomination by the heads of the peninsular state. However, the nominated seats remained unfilled, as peninsular states stayed away from the Constituent Assembly. Indian National Congress (INC) for the first time officially called for a Constituent Assembly. The frame of a constitution for India. Total strength of assembly was 89. Allotted to the peninsular state, which were to be filled by nomination of the head of the peninsular state. However, the nominated seats remained unfilled, as the peninsular state stayed away from the Constituent Assembly. In 1935, Indian National Congress (ANC) for the first time officially called for the Constituent Assembly to frame a constitution for India. Strength of the Assembly 389. Distribution of powers between the centre and the state in Indian constitutions. Based on the act provided in the power between the centre and the state. Power between the centre and state in the Indian Constitution is based on the scheme provided in the Government of India Act 1935. Scheme provided in the Government of India Act. It provided for the establishment of an All India Federation consisting of province and peninsular state. All India Federation consisting of province and peninsular state as unit. Province and peninsular state. It derived the power between the centre and unit in terms of the list, federal list, provincial list and the concurrent list. It abolished hierarchy in the province. Hierarchy in the province and introduced provincial autonomy in its place. And introduced provincial autonomy in its divided the power between the centre and units in terms of three lists: federal list, provincial list and the concurrent list. They abolished hierarchy. Centre and the state in the powers between. Act provided. 35. Provided for the establishment of All India Federation consisting of province and peninsular state. Provincial list, concurrent list. In the province are introduced provincial autonomy in its place. Instrument of instruction contained in the Government of India 1935 have been incorporated in the Constitution of India in the year 1950. Duty principle of state policy. Instrument of instruction Government of India Act 1935 have been incorporated. These instrument instructions were Governor General and Governor of colonies and to those of India and the British government. Text of the instrument of the instruction is found in the Part IV of the Constitution. Seek to establish economic and social democracy in the countries. See to Governor General and governors of colonies and to those of India by British government. Preamble of the Constitution of India. Preamble. Objective economic liberty is not embodied. Preamble. Liberty, economical liberty, economical liberty. Liberty is not embodied in economical liberty. Preamble seeks to all citizens Indian liberty of thought, expression, and belief, faith, and worships through their fundamental rights, enforceable in court of law. Liberty is elaborated in the preamble and very essential for the successful functioning of the Indian democracy. Term liberty means freedom for the people to choose their way of life, belief, thought, expressions. Liberty means freedom for the people to choose their way of life, have political views, and behavior in society. Liberty does not mean freedom to do anything. A person can do anything but in the limit set by the law. Liberty of economics, not thinking, expression, and thought, belief. Statement is correct as a constitutional government is one which places effective restriction on the authority. Place effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. Constitutional government is one which places effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. Correct as a constitutional government is one which places effective restriction on the authority. Constitutional government has a provision like fundamental rights to protect individual liberty and protect individual form of any arbitrary state actions. Constitution grants power in name of the peoples. Effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. No. Constitution permits reasonable restrictions to be imposed on individual liberties in the interest of society and not interest of state. Reasonable restrictions imposed of individual liberty. Constitutional government has provision like fundamental rights to protect individual liberty. To protect individual form of any arbitrary state actions. Protect individual. Any arbitrary state actions because the constitution grants power in the name of people. And the state draws its power from the consent of the people. The constitution says that state will use its powers in the interest of the people. Correct. Government is one which places effective restrictions on the authority of state in the interest of individual liberty. Government is one which places effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty.